I'm recording this on September 15th. 5 days ago, Charlie Kirk was assassinated at Utah Valley University. That is my school, and I was there. I was present. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about my feelings and then maybe what it means for me. Because what it means for me is probably what it means for a lot more people. Um, because this, you know, since it happened, it's pretty much been the only thing on my mind. Um, Constantly rolling it over, constantly replaying the events of the day. Um, so yeah, first I think I'll just kind of share what I saw and what happened, because I think it's a little bit unique. Um, so I had just gotten out of a presentation. It was about George Washington. It was about the American Revolution, um, of all things. And so I just finished that presentation. I walk out into the fountain courtyard. I was kind of on the right side. Um, I was there just before it started. I was there a little bit before 12. Charlie walked out around 12:03, 12:05. Um, he was doing the thing. He was throwing the hats. It was high energy, people chanting. Um, Lots of enthusiasm from the crowd, from Charlie, from his team. Um, and so they kind of started the first question. Um, the first question was actually, it's in Utah. So the first question was, in short, it was like, the guy was like, I think Mormonism or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is more historically accurate, is more legitimate than Protestantism. And Charlie, before he got into it, he's like, all right, let's have fun with this. And just be clear, I love Mormons. And he said, I think you guys have too many babies than you can afford. I think you guys are great. Buttered up Mormons. I thought it was really, really fun. I thought he was super respectful about it. And so they got into it. Again, super respectful. And he actually just kind of ended that first question by saying, I want to end here. I don't want people to think I hate Mormons. And I think that first question was special because, if obviously people had known that minutes later he was going to be shot dead, I think people would have paid more attention. But I think it was special because in that first question, it gave him an opportunity to bear testimony of Jesus Christ. It gave him an opportunity to express what his faith meant to him, express what the Christian faith meant to him. And I thought that was really special. I'd like to know now that those were among his last words. I think not all people are lucky enough to have a heartfelt testimony about what they believe about Jesus Christ. That is unique. And I think, looking back, it's I don't super know how to put it in words, but it was very moving, especially looking back. So he finished that first question, goes to the next question about trans shooters, which most people know. It was about this time, so I'm a political science major. I love this kind of stuff. I was really looking forward to Charlie Kirk coming. I felt like I had a good spot. I could see him clearly. It was about this time that I had a feeling and an impression to leave, which is weird. I just thought, like all of a sudden, I just felt like I lost complete interest, which is weird, because I love this kind of stuff, and I argued with myself for a second, like, why would I leave? And I left. I gave in to this feeling, and so I'm in the courtyard and I walk back into campus just a few feet away. Pretty much the second I walk through the door, I hear the gunshot. And I look outside, everyone drops down. It takes a second for the realization to set in for the people inside. I felt like time slowed down. It was surreal, scary. I didn't know Charlie was shot, but I could, strongly assume that he was shot at. I run out the back and I actually see Charlie's car. I didn't see them at the time. I thought I saw them loading Charlie into the car, but later I saw videos of that point of view. It was not Charlie, but I did see Charlie's car speed off, and a second car followed behind them. I had seen another man in a white shirt hop in a car, and I thought that was Charlie. I didn't see his face, so I didn't think he was hurt. I run in my car, call my family. News spreads like wildfire. Yeah, at this point I'm in shock, and I think just kind of like, I didn't know he was shot at it, and this was before he was pronounced dead. So I was just in complete shock. Then I learned that he had died. The shock started to wear off, and I was pretty miserable, and pretty miserable for the next couple days. It was just pretty much just yesterday that it was the first day that it constantly hadn't been on my mind. I drove home for the weekend, and so it gave me a long car drive to think about it, and it's one of those things you don't learn anything new by thinking about it so much. But what happened is I just turned it over and over in my mind, and it just as time went on, it got scarier, it got realer. I realized the significance. So yeah, that's kind of my point of view. And so there's one more thing I want to share. So myself, I'm religious, I'm a Christian, and looking back, that impression that I had to leave, I believe was God, and I believe he was telling me to leave. And at the time, I kind of thought, like, I kind of figured out that I thought it was God, but I was like, why did he tell me to leave? I was still there. It's not like I was not there. But I think I'm a sensitive person, a little bit. Just being there, I didn't see Charlie get shot, but just being there messed me up for several days, and still is pretty haunting to me. If I had seen it firsthand, I would have been in a lot worse shape. And so I think it was God protecting me. I think God knew what I needed. And so I'm grateful that I heeded that call. I'm grateful that I listened to that impression and left when I did. Literally seconds before. I took a photo of Charlie at 12:13. And he was shot 7 minutes later. I'll show some of my footage that I got. It's nothing crazy. So that's kind of my story. That's my point of view. But now, like, what does this mean for me? And what does this mean for America? I think I'll break those two down. Briefly, first, I'll just do the America part. I'm no expert, so, take what I say with a grain of salt. This is just kind of my feelings. And I do feel like this is probably one of the most significant political assassinations in several decades. I feel like this is up there with JFK, Martin Luther King Jr. This is a big deal. Hopefully this doesn't scare people into not speaking out. And it will, because I felt a little bit of that fear. And I'll get to that in a second, but hopefully this doesn't prevent people from speaking out. This is probably most definitely the end of kind of that outside public speaking, outdoors format. Earlier, we saw the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, which was outside. I am really moved by the reactions of people, and I think I'll actually talk about the reactions to this another time, but I'm really moved by the reactions because people could have chose violence, and they could have chose bitterness and anger and hatred, but both in the US and across seas, and Australia, wherever people have been engaging in candlelight vigils, they've been engaging in prayer and engaging with their community and engaging in conversation. It's not even a week since it happened. The story continues to unfold. I'm sure things will change significantly over the next days and weeks. And so what I think it means for me, while I'm making this video, kind of one of the resolutions that I came to is I personally just want to be expressing my opinion more. I want to be engaging in more conversations. I want to be thinking and engaging with people that think about this kind of stuff. And I think emulating, in a sense, kind of what Charlie did. And I just want to do my best to not be part of that silent majority anymore, and to do my best to foster good conversation. And so I'm gonna be making these kind of videos, because that's kind of the format that I'm most familiar with. That's pretty much my thoughts. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for listening to my story for a moment. Be excellent to each other. And if you enjoyed, watch some of my other videos, and then we can engage and talk. Thank you so much for watching.